2025 made announcements during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja, cited the constitutional term limit as the reason for his departure. In his farewell address, Professor Yakubu thanked INEC staff and blacks for their support and dedication, describing his tenure as a period of tremendous progress and collective achievement.
I also thank my colleagues from the university system who played critical roles at the various stages of elections. I also thank my colleagues from the university system who played critical roles at the various stages of elections. I must also appreciate the National Youth Service Corps, the NYSC, without whose participation the management of election at polling unit level will be a nightmare.
Activities in an acting capacity.
I assure you that the Commission will do our very best to maintain and uphold the standards you have set. We will continue from where you stopped. We acknowledge the significant contributions and achievements made by Professor Mahmood Yakubu during his tenure, in particular his hard work and dedication in serving our country meritoriously.
Professor Mahmood Yakubu's initial appointment in 2015 was followed by a second term in 2020, making him the first INEC chairman to serve 2 terms since the return of democracy in 1999. Sadiya Yakubu, Global Television News.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has assured Nigerians of accountability and renewed focus on youth employment as the 10th Senate resumed plenary after a 10-week recess. The session also marked the return of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, who retained her seat following a 6-month suspension for alleged misconduct. Global TV's National Assembly correspondent, Topsy Gimba, has the report.
After weeks of recess, the Senate committee came alive again as lawmakers reconvened for the first plenary of the new legislative quarter. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who walked into the chamber while proceedings were being presided over by his deputy Jibrin Barrow, took over the session and delivered a welcome address to his colleagues. Akpabio commended President Bola Tinubu's administration for its economic reforms, noting that the gains in oil production and agricultural investment. He emphasized that the federal government is taking bold steps to curb hunger through sustainable agriculture and irrigation systems. He assured Nigerians that the 10th Senate remains committed to transparency and effective oversight by the collective good of the nation. President of the Senate also revealed that President Tinubu declined assent to the bill establishing the Institute of Transport Technology due to identified defects in the draft.
Here, I want to thank the President for taking time to go through each and every bill that we sent to the executive. This is very, very impressive because it means that the executive took time to go through clause by clause. And so we will do justice to all the observations put forward by the President.
He, however, read new presidential communication requesting the confirmation of nominees for key agencies including the National Population Commission, the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. The Senate President further announced that the President has signed into law the establishment of police training institutes in designated areas across the country. Meanwhile, a bill seeking to streamline international passport processing for Nigerians, sponsored by Senator Sani Bello of Niger North and presented by Senator Mohammed Unao of Nasarawa South, has scaled through second reading on the floor of the Senate. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has sworn in 3 new members. They are Omosade Igbinidiam from Edo State, Felix Bagudu from Kaduna State, and Mokhtar Rabiu from Jigawa State. The Speaker Tajuddin Abbas announced the presence of the new members in the chambers at the resumption of plenary sitting after the clerk of the House ushered the 3 new APC members into the green chambers. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured residents of the administration's effort to provide conducive learning environment for pupils and students as part of the FCTA's commitment to fostering quality education across the nation's capital. The minister gave the assurance while speaking at the official flag-off of the rehabilitation of the old Kefi Road from Kado Village to Dede Junction, a major route that has long served a vital link for commerce and transportation between the North Central and Northeast region of the country.
According to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, a total number of 103 schools have been earmarked for rehabilitation, with 35 projects already flagged up, while 73 have reached various stages of completion, making a major landmark in the education sector within this territory. He reiterated the administration's full commitment to improving education in the FCT, with over 100 schools already earmarked for rehabilitation to provide a conducive learning environment for pupils and students.
We have just awarded the total rehabilitation of Gombe Secondary School, Dede, out of 103 schools. 70 is undergoing construction, 33 will be flagged up soon. Out of 105, 73 of the schools are in Amak, that's in the city.
The project, covering 15 kilometers, is expected to be completed within 18 months, providing a traffic circular that will ease movement and boost economic activities within the FCT and beyond. He further urged residents to continue support the president as he works to change the nation's narrative for the better.
I urge you to continue to support the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The minister reaffirmed the Federal Capital Territory Administration commitment to continue to prioritize projects that enhance security, mobility, and access to quality education across all communities in the FCT. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
The Kaija Youth Empowerment Initiative has celebrated its one-year anniversary, highlighting its commitment to youth development, skills acquisition, and community growth. Ubon Usoro reports.
The anniversary celebration brought together youth leaders, partners, stakeholders to reflect on the impact of the Kaija Youth Empowerment Initiative over the past year. Since its establishment, the organization has focused on equipping young people with entrepreneurial skills, leadership training, and opportunities for self-reliance. The MD CEO of the initiative, Tina King, says our goal is to build confident, skilled, and resourceful young people who can contribute meaningfully to the growth of the nation.
When I visited Nigeria, what I saw on the street corners, Your Excellency, were our children hawking in the streets. Our children hawking in the streets. And that broke me. That drove me to tears. I grew up in this country. Like I said, I left from this country when I was 23. I saw people hawk, but I was never privy to see, I don't know if it's a privilege, but I was never privy to see children hawking during my time of growing up. But that's how KJ came about.
The wife of the former vice president, a special guest of honor during the anniversary celebration in Abuja, said empowering young people is a key to national development, and she is proud of the work Kaija is doing.
Some people are running away, and she's trying to come back to come and take care of Nigeria's children. Mrs. Tina King, you have done very well.
Dr. Remy Chukwunyere, the guest lecturer, while speaking, says youth empowerment must go beyond training. It must provide platforms where young people can apply their skills and create value for themselves and the society.
Now, often we think security, especially for government people, is all about guns, buying more guns, equipping the army, increasing the budget. Can you listen? Increasing the defense budget. But unfortunately, the main thing that will bring security is being neglected. which is youth development.
The event also featured fundraising, exhibition, and testimonies from beneficiaries whose life had been transformed through the initiative. Ubong Usoro, reporting for Global Television.
You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. The news returns after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, has written to the House of Representatives seeking its approval to implement new external borrowings and refinance maturing debts in line with the 2025 Appropriation Act. The President's request, which also includes the issuance of Nigeria's debut sovereign sukuk in the international capital market, was read on the floor of the Great Chamber as lawmakers resumed plenary after their annual recess. A National Assembly correspondent, Aniete Patrick, reports.
President Tinubu, in his letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, sought the National Assembly's resolution to raise external capital totaling over $2.3 billion. The President also proposed the issuance of a standalone $500 million sovereign sukuk aimed at attracting Sharia-compliant investments and funding key infrastructure projects. The letter cites provisions of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act of 2003 seeking legislative capital markets through Eurobonds, syndicated loans, bridge financing, or direct borrowing from global financial institutions. President Tinubu explained that the move is to ensure Nigeria meets its debt obligations without default and continues to diversify funding sources for infrastructure development.
1,843,669,786 naira 98 kobo, which is equivalent to $1,229,113,000. The proposal is for the House of Representatives to approve the issuance of a standalone debut sovereign sukuk with or without credit enhancement guarantee.
Also, Speaker Tajudeen welcomed members back, describing the session as a defining midpoint for the 10th Assembly. He reaffirmed the House's commitment to collaborate with the executive on policies to stabilize the economy, attract investments, and improve citizens' welfare.
Attention must turn to several urgent priorities. Chief among them is the constitutional amendment. 87 proposals concerning devolution of powers, local government autonomy, judicial reform, and socio-economic rights await debate and voting.
The House is expected to deliberate on the President's external borrowing requests in the coming days, alongside other legislative priorities aimed at strengthening governance and stimulating Nigeria's economic recovery. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Thank you very much, Aniete. Now let's go to the world of from the foreign scene now. A rights group says 2 Kenyan activists have been abducted by Ugandan security forces after attending a rally for opposition leader Bobi Wine. Abductions of the government critics and opposition figure have become common across East Africa, and rights groups claim that authorities are failing to protect their own citizens, alleging that they are working together against activists. Correspondent Zara Nasir has details.
In May, Kenyan activist Boniface Wangi and Ugandan activist Agate Atuheri said they were abducted and tortured by security forces in Tanzania. The latest victims are Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyu, who were reportedly taken at a petrol station after joining Wine's campaign trail last week. Civil society leaders have placed a demand on Kenyan and Ugandan governments to ensure their unconditional release.
Eyewitness accounts indicate that Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo were abducted in Kampala by masked, uniformed, and armed men, suggesting strong evidence of state involvement in their disappearance. It is our suspicion that the two may be detained alongside other Ugandan police
powerlifting contingent departed Nigeria on Tuesday, October 7, for 11th World Para-Powerlifting Championship set to take place in Cairo, Egypt from October 9 to 18, 2025. The milestone event marks the first ever championship to be hosted in African soil, symbolizing a new era for the sport on this continent. The first batch of Team Nigeria athletes left the country on Tuesday amid cheers and well wishes from officials, fans and supporters. The second batch of the contingent is scheduled to depart tomorrow from Lagos, completing the full team that will represent the country. And that's it on Global TV News. Before we go, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on the screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching. It's helpful.